Matthew here from Tangleman Tactical. I hope you've had a good Sunday. Me and my family's had not the greatest with not feeling good and sinuses and all this pollen that's going around. It beats me down. It beats my wife down, and I'm sure it probably affects my daughter. But I want to address my 300 blackout build that I done. I've already got a couple videos on it. And for 400 rounds, well, what's left? This is what's left of the 400 rounds that I've shot. That's probably 40 rounds, somewhere like that. 147 grain supersonic, okay? Shot it flawlessly. Now, all this was before my Silencer Co Hybrid 46 can came in. Once my can came in, and I put it on, the first 20 shots, I would say, flawless. Once again, if you look at my videos, you'll see it's shot flawless. Supersonic 147 and subsonic 220 grain. Okay, had to move my mic. So anyways, I shot 220 grain Hush ammo, and like I said, I've got video on it, and it's just like scary quiet. Actually, the 9 is quieter. The AR9 is quieter with this Silencer Co can. You may not be able to see it, but with the 165 grain, it's like it's scary. Okay, so I had problems, so I tore everything apart, cleaned everything, put it back together. Still was not having any luck. I changed the bolt out, the entire BCG out. That didn't change it. Then I put a different bolt in the bolt carrier group. That didn't change it. Several Lancer mags and P mags, no difference in that. I took the Law Tactical folder off. Well, the bolt's back. I've got it clear now, but the bolt's back. But I took the Law Tactical folder off. I thought that was the problem. Took it off. Still would not, had failure to feed, failure to eject, and I was getting dual feed into the barrel, and it just was not running. And I had exhausted every bit of the knowledge that I have, which is very little. And I spent probably 4 to 5 hours on YouTube looking over 300 blackout builds, cycling issues. None of it fit what I was going through. So finally, I had to just take it and go to a gun store I used to deal quite a bit with years ago, and now I don't deal with them so much. But nothing against them. It's just I've been ordering most of my own parts. Top Gun, Jonathan, which is technically the owner of Top Gun. He's this is who I bought my can from here. This is who I bought my Yankee Hill Phantom can from. A few other parts, but most of their stuff is pretty high, so I have to be selective on what I buy. Their ammunition is high. So, but regardless, Jonathan, in my early days, we're talking 4 or 5 years ago, when I would run into problems, whatever they may be, failure to fire, failure to feed, failure to eject, light primer strike, whatever the issue was, he was always able to fix it. And he probably only worked about, at one time I had 13 different ARs. Now I'm down to 7. I had to sell some of them off. But he worked on a couple of them and got them back, and they worked fine. So I finally put my ego aside and my pride and my humility aside and carried this down, and I said, I've got about $3,500, $3,800 in this rig. That's including the can with all the adapters, with the quick QD mount, and then all the different baffles that go on the front of it. So about $3,800. And my rail is here. I have it off for a reason. But he took it down and worked on it, and wasn't even 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes. I got a call from him, says, I got you going, got you fixed. I'm like, okay. So I turned back around that day, went back. He's about 20 minutes from where I live. His gun range has an indoor gun range, and they're pretty big time there. But I went back and I got it, and I went back out to shoot it, to do a video on it, show that I had it up and running again. I put my 147s in here, my 147 grains, and then I had a few Hush left over, 220 subs that I ran through it. Would not run. Would not run at all. Jam, failure to feed, I mean, everything. I immediately called him. I said, Jonathan, this gun's not working. He says, bring it right back down. I said, now when I go there, I want to be with you, go in the indoor range, watch you shoot it, see what you're doing to it, etc., and so forth. So when we got down there, initially, when I first picked it up, I asked him what was the problem. He had told me that my gas block, this is a Superlative Arms adjustable gas block, that the gas block was not in the correct position. Now, I've built about 31 AR platforms over these last couple of years. I've got a dimple jig. I've got a laser guided drill press. I have a bore scope. Everything that I checked, everything looked good. And from what my experience is you never butt the gas block all the way up to the shoulder of the barrel. Superlative Arms has like you're supposed to use a feeler gauge, but Superlative Arms has like, it's supposed to be off, and I'm just using kind of an arbitrary number, like a millimeter or 2 millimeters off of this shoulder. But the dimple jig, once you match it up and put the dimple jig on, it's there. Had no problems out of any other firearms, any other ARs. Dimple jig, adjustable gas block, everything's quality parts. So he said that was a problem. So he just loosened it up and he dropped it back further, and it's fine. So as I went out and shot it, it wasn't fine. I came back, we went out there, I brought my ammo, my subs and my supers, and stood back there and shot it with him, and failure to feed, failure to fire, failure to eject, double feed. Just like it was just completely inoperable. The operation wasn't working. The action was not working at all. So he said, let me try something. So he went back out into the main part of the store, and he brought out some Winchester 147 grain white box, and he brought out stealth ammo, which is supposed to be quieter than Hush, 220 grain subs. And he loaded them up, put the 147s in, played around with the gas block just a little bit, and it was shooting them every time. About 3 o'clock, maybe about 3:30, but generally about 3 o'clock with the 147s. Zero problem with the can on and my handrail off, so it's easier to adjust. So then we put the stealth ammo subsonics in there, and same thing, shot 15, 18 rounds, not a problem. Now, that ejection pattern was about 430, but you're changing grains and weight, so that's where you'd come in and change your gas pressure a little bit to get more of that 3 to 4 o'clock ejection pattern. So long story short, the gas block was off, and basically what he told me is I've got bad ammunition. My Hush and the 147s. Now, he's been in the gun world way longer than I have. He's younger than me. Or about 20 years younger than me. I'm 51. He's probably late 20s, maybe early 30s. But I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I ordered 400 rounds of this. It's not like Remington, Federal, or Winchester, but it was a brand name, and I don't remember the name, but zero problems. I mean, zero problems. Not a problem at all. The Hush, not a problem at all. So when he brought out this other ammo, the Winchester 147 and the stealth ammo 220 grain, it purred like a kitten. It was spot on. And that, I'm glad it's fixed. I don't have video on it showing that it's shooting and everything yet, but I've already shot it, so I know. But I just can't wrap my head around how this ammunition worked flawlessly, then all of a sudden it wouldn't work at all. And even the Hush wouldn't work. So it didn't make no sense to me. So long story short, it wasn't anything to do with the bolt or the bolt carrier group or the buffer or the spring or the Law Tactical folder. It wasn't any of those things. It was the gas block being off just a touch. Once again, I got a dimple jig. I got two dimple jigs, one for 0.750 and one for 0.625. You get your dimple jig right, I mean, it's there. You slide it on, put your set screws in, a little bit Loctite. Even though Loctite, when it heats up, it turns to liquid. So I don't really buy that whole Loctite argument thing or Loctite issue. But he's got it back together. Oh, he got it shooting again. And so basically I've got, this was about, I'm thinking about 60 cents a round. Remember, this is 300 blackout brass. So now I've got about $25 to $30 right here that is just, I can't use it. So now I have to have specific ammunition to run this, specific ammunition to run this 300 blackout. I don't like that. I'll tell you right now, I don't like that. Because that means I have to buy, Winchester. I'm not a big fan of Winchester. I'd prefer Remington or Federal. Or I've not really shot Fiocchi, but I've heard good things about it. So now I got to see if it will shoot some of these other top tier brand name ammunition companies. So that's to be seen, and we'll find out. But I'm glad that it's working. I'm glad that it's this thing is real tight going on. Usually I spray a little bit of oil on it, but there goes my bolt. It just ain't going on. But anyways, it's back running again. No, I don't still have it all the way. It's super tight, which that's a good thing. But of course, it has the anti-rotation tabs on it too. So this is just an update on a project that I built this gun for one reason and one reason only: home defense. I didn't build it to go out and train and go to the range with it and run drills with it and all these type of things. So with that being said, it's up and running again. Shout out to Jonathan. Appreciate him working with me and getting this fixed and resolved. Even though, like I said, now I'm having to get specific brands of ammunition. So yes, there is a 1%, 5% chance that my ammunition just went bad. But it's highly unlikely. From the same batch, from the same bag, on these, the 147s, and the Hush come in a box. So that still has me not in the back of my mind. I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy that it has to run specific ammunition. But, you know, the old phrase, like Max Holloway says all the time, it is what it is. Okay. Now we got it back here together. Just going to screw this in here. These Strike Industry rails, they're expensive, but I tell you, I like them. Okay, that on. Make sure this is in the off. I mean the unlock. Unlock. So, anyways, that is what the issue was. So it's fixed now, and you know, like I said, I still got that seed of doubt in my head about why it, you know, only runs specific ammo. I know I've said that 10, 15 times during this video, but that's the biggest thing with me being upset about it. But anyways, we're up and running. Everything I got is 100% functional. And I got more stuff in my safe. And now I can go back to enjoying this firearm with this very expensive can once you add in the QD mount and a couple of baffles that I bought. Because I'd got this Hybrid 46, so one day I could run it on my Glock 45 caliber. I don't have a 21, I got a 30S, so it's kind of like the 19 frame. Everybody calls this the elephant leg because the can is so big, but I was swapping this between my 300 Blackout and my AR9 because my can was still in jail, and it just come out of jail about a week and a half ago or something like that, whatever. And I'm so impressed with it, I'm just leaving it on. I'm not worrying about it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. So it was nothing what I thought it was. It's just something that still keeps me up at night. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. It just keeps me up. Why I have to run a specific brand of ammo. And I am going to get some Federal, and I am going to get some Remington, I am going to get some Fiocchi, and I'm going to buy some more off-brand ammo and run it through it and see if that is just a bad batch. Now, my cousin has a 300 Blackout, so I'm going to give those to him and see if they'll run in his rig. And he's got a Sig Rattler 300 Blackout. And it has one of the whip machine dirty 30 cans, a little 4-inch. I mean, it sounds like a bazooka going off when it shoots. But, and he can't run 220 grain subs in his because his barrel is so short and the can is so short, there's not enough back pressure. So he can only run 200 grain subs. But anyways, that's no dig on him or anything. But I can give them to him, let him run these through his rattler and see if it feeds. And if they run fine and there's no issue whatsoever, I've still got a question mark with this thing. So at the moment, I'm job hunting, I'm job searching. I had 3 opportunities. All 3 of them fell through. I got 2 more places I'm going to go to and talk to the owners, the managers. So, I don't know. So this year I've had no money to buy parts. I've had to bum ammo. I've had to sell some guns just to get by. And I still could have had the old job that I had, but I let my priorities get out of whack. My dad is in real bad shape, and I stressed a lot over that and left work and went to his house numerous times. And so that didn't work out too well for my job. But regardless, the Lord will provide something else. I am disappointed that the other 3 fell through, but it's all going to work out in the end. I know it will. So anyways, up and running. We're shooting great. Still don't have this zeroed yet because I've been working on everything else so much. My AR9 is somewhat zeroed, but my main rig, my 11.5, Aero 11.5, it's pretty well dead on. So, but anyways, all right, so we're going to wrap this video up. Remember, stay sober, stay vigilant. God bless.